Welcome back to our channel for another deep dive into the glamorous, cutthroat world of Los Angeles fashion. Today is a brilliant day to unpack the explosive drama, shifting loyalties, and shattered hearts that are currently defining our favorite daytime dynasty. Let us explore the profound emotional landscapes and corporate battlegrounds awaiting us as we dissect the latest developments. The emotional wreckage scattered across the gleaming executive offices of Forrester Creations has never been more palpable than it is right now. The highly anticipated episode airing on Wednesday, May 20th, promises to deliver a masterclass in psychological warfare, familial betrayal, and the agonizing realization of broken promises. At the very center of this brewing storm is Hope Logan Spencer, a woman whose entire professional identity and personal trust have been pushed to the absolute brink of destruction. For weeks, Hope has endured the condescending leadership of Steffy Forrester Finnegan, clinging to the desperate belief that her mother, Brooke Logan Forrester, would successfully execute a corporate coup, secure the co-CEO position, and resurrect the marginalized Hope for the future line. Instead, Hope is about to face a reality far more devastating than mere corporate defeat. She is about to experience the profound, agonizing sting of maternal betrayal. Brooke Logan Forrester's recent actions can only be described as a masterstroke of self-preservation masked as diplomacy, revealing a deeply calculating side to the Forrester matriarch. After aggressively campaigning for the co-CEO seat, and allowing Hope to believe that a new era of Logan power was imminent at Forrester Creations, Brooke experienced a shocking failure when Ridge Forrester ultimately chose to uphold Steffy's authority. However, rather than standing in solidarity with her devastated daughter, Brooke executed a breathtaking pivot. She completely abandoned the crusade, choosing instead to protect her romantic relationship with Ridge. The sheer hypocrisy of this maneuver is staggering, especially considering how fiercely Brooke had radicalized Hope to fight back against Steffy's tyranny. Brooke's sudden capitulation is a bitter pill for Hope to swallow, but the manner in which Brooke handles the aftermath is what truly shatters their bond. The betrayal deepens in the excruciating details of Brooke's timeline. Instead of immediately informing Hope that the battle was lost and that Steffy would remain in power, Brooke engaged in a sickening display of avoidance. She prioritized her own comfort and romantic security, spending the entire day cuddling and being intimate with Ridge in the executive office while her daughter waited in agonizing suspense. Hope was left to pace the floors, her anxiety mounting with every passing hour, completely unaware that her mother had already surrendered the war. When the truth finally comes to light, the realization that Brooke chose a romantic afternoon over delivering crucial, career-altering news to her own child serves as a devastating blow to Hope's psyche. It is a stark reminder that in the grand chessboard of Brooke's life, Ridge Forrester will always be the king, and everyone else, even her own daughter, is merely a pawn. Adding insult to this profound injury is the revelation of Brooke's diplomatic text message to Steffy. In a desperate bid to cover her own tracks and save face with Ridge, Brooke sends a message praising Steffy's leadership, the very leadership she had just spent weeks plotting to dismantle. While Steffy and her mother, Taylor Hayes, might smugly categorize this text as a rare moment of self-awareness from Brooke, the reality is far more cynical. Brooke is simply shielding herself from the fallout of her failed power grab, ensuring that she remains in Ridge's good graces, even if it means validating the woman who is actively destroying her daughter's career. For Hope, discovering this level of two-faced manipulation from the woman she trusted most is the ultimate breaking point. The illusion of the fiercely protective mother has evaporated, leaving behind a shrewd survivor who will compromise any principle to maintain her status. Completely broken, disillusioned, and weeping over the ashes of her career and her mother's loyalty, Hope flees the toxic environment of Forrester Creations. She seeks sanctuary in the only place that seems to offer a lifeline, the Logan Fashion House. Pouring her heart out to her aunt, Katie Logan Spencer, Hope details the excruciating betrayal she has just endured. She lays bare the reality of Steffy's suffocating control and Brooke's cowardly retreat, desperately seeking validation and a new path forward. In this moment of extreme vulnerability, Hope is more receptive than ever to the idea of abandoning the Forrester legacy entirely and bringing her visionary talents to Katie's burgeoning empire. However, the sanctuary Hope seeks is currently built on a foundation of profound internal conflict and unresolved historical trauma. As Katie holds her weeping niece's hand in a genuinely tender moment, a sudden, paralyzing wave of self-reflection washes over her. Katie is a brilliant businesswoman, but she is also a woman deeply scarred by the betrayals of her past. She finds herself hesitating, deliberately pausing the finalization of any employment deal as she begins to intensely question her own underlying motives. Is her aggressive pursuit of Hope truly a calculated business maneuver to secure a star designer for the Logan brand? Or is it something far darker? The accusations hurled by her sister, Donna, echo relentlessly in Katie's mind, forcing her to confront a terrifying psychological possibility. Is she subconsciously using Hope as a pawn in a vindictive, 20-year-old revenge plot against Brooke for stealing Bill Spencer? This internal crisis is a brilliant narrative exploration of the enduring scars left by the infamous Brooke, Katie, and Bill love triangle. For 2 decades, Katie has lived in the shadow of her sister's romantic conquests, enduring the humiliation of having her husband stolen by her own flesh and blood. Now, presented with the opportunity to lure Brooke's golden child away from Forrester Creations and effectively claim Hope as her own corporate trophy, the lines between professional ambition and personal vengeance become dangerously blurred. Katie must look deep into her own soul and determine if she is building an empire or simply constructing an elaborate weapon to finally punish Brooke. The moral weight of this decision is crushing, adding a layer of sophisticated psychological drama to the impending corporate war. While Katie wrestles with her conscience, the Spencer men arrive to pour gasoline on the fire. Bill Spencer and Liam Spencer descend upon the Logan fashion house, bringing with them an aggressive, unapologetic advocacy for Hope's defection. Liam, fiercely protective of his wife's creative spirit, sees Forrester Creations as a sinking ship of nepotism and disrespect. Bill, ever the ruthless tactician, views the acquisition of Hope not just as a boon for Katie's brand, but as the ultimate strategic victory over his eternal rival, Ridge Forrester. Together, Liam and Bill push relentlessly, urging Hope to sever her ties with the past and step into a future where her talents will be unconditionally celebrated. Their presence amplifies the pressure on both Hope and Katie, accelerating the momentum toward a decision that will irrevocably alter the landscape of the Los Angeles fashion industry. Meanwhile, back in the tense, creatively stifled design offices of Forrester Creations, another storm of frustration is reaching its boiling point. Zend Forrester Dominguez is experiencing a profound professional crisis, his anger simmering just beneath the surface of his usually composed demeanor. For months, Zend poured his heart, soul, and immense talent into designing a groundbreaking new collection for the Hope for the Future line. He spent countless late nights agonizing over fabrics, silhouettes, and the overarching vision of the brand, operating under the assumption that Steffy's pause on the line was merely a temporary administrative hurdle. Now, the devastating reality has set in. Steffy and Ridge have absolutely no intention of prioritizing HFTF. They are entirely consumed by their obsession with haute couture, viewing the younger, more vibrant demographic as an afterthought. Zend's artistic spirit is deeply offended by this corporate myopia. He understands a fundamental truth of the fashion world that Ridge seems to have forgotten. A designer creates art to be seen, worn, and celebrated, not to be locked away in a dark archive because of petty boardroom politics. Zend is acutely aware that the legendary Eric Forrester possesses a keen understanding of the youth market and actually supports the demographic that HFTF caters to. However, Ridge's complete apathy and refusal to even allow a proper, respectful discussion about the future of the line has left Zend feeling entirely marginalized. The realization that he has wasted months of his life crafting masterpieces that will never see the runway is a bitter pill, sparking a quiet rebellion within the talented designer. Compounding Zend's intense frustration is the inescapable, suffocating presence of nepotism within the Forrester hierarchy. His resentment toward R.J. Forrester, the ultimate golden boy, is a heavy burden to bear. Zend has spent years proving his worth, fighting for every ounce of respect he has earned, only to watch R.J. glide into the design office on the coattails of his parents' legacy. The inherent unfairness of the situation grates on Zend's nerves, making the collaborative environment feel like a constant, humiliating reminder of his secondary status within his own family's company. Yet, despite the deep-seated anger and the sting of unappreciated talent, Zend recognizes that a full-scale war in the design room will only accelerate the company's downfall. In a surprising display of emotional maturity and corporate pragmatism, Wednesday's episode will feature a fragile, unexpected peace pact between the two warring designers. Recognizing that the overarching chaos caused by the Brooke and Steffy conflict threatens to tear the entire company apart, RJ and Zend agree to lay down their arms for the greater good of Forrester Creations. RJ, showing a commendable level of self-awareness, promises to respect Zend's seniority and vows not to use his privileged status to usurp Zend's position. In return, Zend successfully suppresses his explosive resentment, agreeing to act as a team player and collaborate on the high-stakes couture line. It is a moment of profound professionalism, a temporary ceasefire in a war that is far from over. However, the lingering question remains: how long can this fragile truce possibly last? The foundation of their partnership is built on suppressed anger, unfulfilled artistic desires, and the constant, looming threat of Hope's departure. If Hope ultimately decides to accept Katie's offer and defect to the Logan brand, the ripple effects will be catastrophic for Forrester Creations. Zend, already feeling undervalued and creatively stifled, may find a temptation to follow Hope and become a lead designer for a company that actually respects his vision entirely irresistible. The peace pact with RJ is merely a bandage over a gaping wound, and the slightest shift in the corporate winds could tear it right off. As the week progresses, the stakes have never been higher. Hope stands at the precipice of a life-altering decision, her heart broken by her mother and her career stalled by her rival. Katie navigates the treacherous waters of her own psychology, desperately trying to separate her brilliant business instincts from the lingering ghosts of her traumatic past. Brooke must live with the consequences of her cowardly betrayal, while Steffi reigns over a kingdom that is rapidly fracturing from within. The Los Angeles fashion world is a powder keg of ambition, resentment, and shattered trust, and all it will take is one final push to ignite an explosion that will change